All right, I'm back. I don't know if that's helping anybody or not. We'll see. I'm kind of hunkered down in the basement of our house, so I'm maybe a little farther away from my internet activity than I'm used to. So, my apologies. FaceTime was so much easier than YouTube, but not everybody has Facebook. I say FaceTime, Facebook. So, anyhow, so we find in this 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15, that Peter is telling us, be ready to give a reason, an example for your hope that you have, and then explain it. But do so, I like this, in a gentle and respectful way. Oftentimes, we're tempted to explain or give hope, or even just kind of come at some people and say, hey, this is why you need to have Jesus. And it may not be so much in hope or in gentleness or in kindness. And so I think in this time where we have a lot of people who are genuinely afraid, they are scared of this virus. And if you watch the news on any amount of time, if you watch the websites, it is just a constant bombardment of bad. So how do you keep your perspective? Again, we've been talking about vision. We've been talking about asking God to on us not having, if you will, our normal freedoms to be able to go out and to gather together, even on Sunday morning. Our freedoms being kind of eroded because of this virus. All of which are valid questions that we need to sit down with the Father and ask, Lord, your followers to deal with this in a manner by which it brings glory and honor to you, and to live in such a way that people see the hope that we have, that, yeah, this thing is happening. I'm not ignoring it, but I don't have to let it become who I am. I need to say, hey, this is what the word says. So first question to ask is, do you have hope? Where is your hope? And what is your hope in? Because the reality is, we're going to put our hope in a lot of things. We realized when we started saying, and when the government started saying, hey, you can't be in more than 10 or this and the other, all of a sudden we begin to realize what our hope and our faith was in. Because when you start taking that thing away, what do you have left? If everything is stripped away, if there's this mandated, shelter in home, like in California or Illinois, what's your hope in then? Very outspoken, very forceful, and most of us identify our lives with him in some aspect. Goes from all of that to telling Jesus, don't go to Jerusalem. You're going to die. I'll go to you. I'll go with you to death. To the guy who cuts off an ear in the garden, who then says, I'll never deny you, to then now it's he leaves Jesus. And now we find this passage where he has this hope in who Jesus is. And he is telling us, hey, listen, this is something that is miraculous, and he's offering it to us. All that being said, as I was thinking and meditating on this word, where does your hope come from? Answer. What's our hope in? Where is it at? And then what do we do that? Do we live from such that aspect of hope that people see that it opens a door for us to share Christ? Then I was thinking, okay, where does this hope come from? And we know, they're probably getting tired of me talking about this incredible parable that Jesus tells of the prodigal son. I can't explain it to you, that God just continues to kind of peel back the layers more and more in helping me see myself in this story, see how God really sees me in this story. And so it's amazing to me how he just, by the way, Grant, here's another lesson from the prodigal son. And it oftentimes brings me to tears. And so I go back there, and he reminded me of this because I get questions, and I know people are out there talking, is the virus a judgment from God? Is he causing this? Is he doing this? Um, and I'm going to be very candid uh, and direct, and you may disagree with me, and that's fine. No, God didn't cause this. God didn't say, man, one day I hope they're not going to be no. I'm going to cause this virus to cause people to panic and be afraid and to doubt and to then just be riddled with fear. God doesn't work that way. God doesn't produce a spirit of fear. So he didn't start this. He didn't cause this. So what does he do with this? And that's the beautiful thing about God, is that he can take anything, and say some good that's going to come out of this. What somebody meant, or or the enemy meant, what they meant for evil, God can say this is going to be a beautiful this. And unfortunately, there have been people who have, because of fear that caused this virus to start. This is the reality. If you go back to the Old Testament, one thing God was very clear about is that one individual sin does impact many. What one person does matter. We can't live this autonomous life where it says, well, I just do what's good for me, and then assume it's not going to impact anybody else. It does. We cannot escape that. We do have a ripple effect. Whether we think we're doing it in private or we're doing it in public, we do have a ripple effect. And so if you go back into, I think it's 2 Samuel, there's an occasion there where David does something where he wants to take a sin that's against God's plan. And I'm going to challenge you, go read that. It impacted me. It made me take a gasp and going, oh my word, Lord, as he and I were talking, and in light of